Parsons.
Here.
John Edwards.
Here. Here.
All righty. The next thing is a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented. My second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Keith Harrison,
Yes.
Roger Tom,
Yes.
Mike Parsons,
Yes.
John Edwards,
Yes.
John Flynn.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Okay, the next one is a resolution 2336 for the budget committee.
Okay, this, we talked about this last month, and this was appoint Mark Walker and Bill Hill onto our budget committee. I have talked to him and he's willing to do that.
I think that's really important to have somebody.
Yes.
So I need a motion for 2336, please.
I move to approve resolution 2336, budget committee as presented. I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Keith Harrison,
Yes.
Roger Tom,
Yes.
Mike Parsons,
Yes.
John Edwards.
Yes.
John Flynn.
Yes.
Thank you. And now, resolution 2337, authorization to accept loans from DEQ.
Okay, we did this a couple months ago for the Antelope Road project. This is for the coming stormwater project.
Yeah.
Same thing. Basically, we're getting a loan from DEQ to build the stormwater facility over by Talent. This is the one that's going to be mostly free because we're going to get $383,000 from DEQ of what they call I can't remember the acronym, some kind of grant. And then the $83,000 that we would need to finish up the project is also coming from DEQ, but that's under an emerging contaminants grant. So we should, get pretty much all of this one paid for without any of our own money. So
This just fills a gap between the two.
yeah, we got the one grant, the bulk of it, but the total project's going to be a little bit higher, so this covers the rest of it.
And this is one that ultimately gets partly forgiven at the end of the day, or will we have to pay all that back?
No, we won't pay any of it back. Yeah, this one, because it's, there's two different grants that are applied here. One of them, I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's a water pollution type thing. And that's the $300,000 is that grant, and we've already got, I think we're still waiting on the final signature on that one from them. And then this one that we're getting authorization for right now is through the DEQ revolving loan fund. And that's the one that they do partially forgive, but because the facility we're building has the ability to remove 6 ppb quinone from the stormwater, then it applies. There's what they call an emerging contaminants grant. So this one will be completely forgiven through the emerging contaminants grant.
Nice. Very nice.
Seems like not a hard decision.
We see we're all like that.
And we're ready to go to bid on this one here pretty soon. Nick's got the documents all ready to go. Yeah.
Okay, a motion, please, for resolution 2337.
I move to approve resolution 2337, authorization to accept loan from DEQ as presented. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Keith Harrison,
Yes.
Roger Tom,
Yes.
Mike Parsons,
Yes.
John Edwards,
Yes.
John Flynn.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is a resolution 2338, award of bid for administrative building HVAC system upgrade.
Okay. And this is totally unrelated to the fact that there's space heaters lining this. But yeah, we did put this in the budget. Our heating system is going on 20 years old, and a couple of years ago we had to replace one of the units, and it's just we need a lot more service now, and there's basically obsolete refrigerants they use are no longer used, stuff like that. So we did put in a budget to upgrade and replace all HVAC systems. The ductwork's going to stay. Right, these minor changes there, but the heating, we've got 4 heating units upstairs and 4 units outside. One of them is relatively new, so we're replacing the 3 outside and all 4 upstairs. and upgrading thermostats and things like that. Anyway, we put out a request for proposals. We got two, but one of them wasn't anywhere close to compliant with what we were asking for. And so,
Don't you just hate that when that happens?
yeah,
Because you
I
wonder
mean, it'd be
who's
great if we
reading
could
these
get,
things.
if we could get the project for the price that they quoted, it would be great, but we wouldn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, the one responsive proposal we got was from Allied Comfort Pro for a little over $63,000. So asking for authorization to proceed with that. I think we budgeted 100 for that. So it's well within what we budgeted.
The ducting's okay, they've inspected it.
Yes, yeah, they've been up there. There's gonna be a little bit of minor duct work like that. I think they're gonna add a return airflow in mix office, things like that, but for the most part, it's all in good shape.
So this is replacing 7 units? 8 total?
Yeah, there's four inside and 3 outside, but they're paired together. The outside and the inside are connected, they work together, but one outside's already been replaced.
Price doesn't really seem unreasonable for that many
No,
units.
no.
It must work.
And there's actually a mini split as well being added for the
For
server.
the AC.
A mini unit.
I bought many splits for my rental and just one is not free. So this many is a big deal for this size.
Yeah,
That's why.
Building at this price is just so bad.
It's a really small room that it's going in. I mean,
It is,
it's a server closet.
That's gonna be done.
Yeah, all the parts are in stock, which is nice. It wasn't a thing. One heat pump unit out. But there's only 2 of those left in the whole United States when we did it. So
Oh, wow.
to give you an idea back then, that was just $10,000. You know, doing.
And
all
we
these,
don't
yeah.
want to immortalize that or anything, do we?
No, it's staying.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the
so
one.
they've got more of them now.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, Carl, when I replaced mine, and this is totally anecdotal and not really directly related, the bill was reduced by 75%. So I should think we'll save energy too. And in
I would
in
expect
some
so,
way
yeah.
recapture some of this. So it's
Yeah.
really not so bad.
Yeah, it is a 20-year-old system, so.
It'll be good.
And, the thermostats are.
I was gonna say,
you know,
and maybe not 7.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get that good, but, we've made some changes to the building itself. We've added a couple, added doors and put up walls and things like that, and that kind of changes overall. So we have some areas, it's real unbalanced right now. Carol's office gets bad, my office gets bad. It's either sometimes it's really, really cold in there, and sometimes, because where the thermostat sits, it's dominated by the thermostat that's over on the engineering side. So anyway, it'll be a better office environment overall, and like I said, we should save some on the electrical bill for that. And it's just needed because obviously, it's not right now. It's flat out not working. And we got the repairman coming in. It was going to be Friday, but it's gonna be tomorrow.
Hopefully, apartment will show up today or
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So, and that's kind of been more and more frequent
Yeah.
lately.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion then for resolution 2338.
I move to adopt resolution number 2338.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Kay Harrison,
Yes.
Roger Jones,
Yes.
Mike Parsons.
Yes.
John Edwards.
Yes.
John Flynn.
Yes.
Project update.
All right. We've been talking about a few of these for quite some time, and they're getting off the ground now. The Antelope Road project, sewer rehab project, we had a pre-bid meeting yesterday. We got a packed house in here. I think we've got 5 or 6 separate plan holders. We were surprised. We thought we'd get some more out of towners looking at it because it's such a big project. Well, at least for us anyway. And there's only one from out of town. Pretty big company out of Utah, and they're trying to branch out into this area. So, which would be nice. More competition with all these underground contractors is always good. So for us at least. That project's gonna bid 9th of February. We'll award it in March. So Shady Cove Pump Station number 2, we got some quotes, a couple different quotes for design options on this. In a nutshell, Xylem or Flight, our pump vendors have a couple different options for rehabbing pump station. One option for really the only one that was around when we did Glenwood and Arborwood and some of those. Well, no.
We've toured, on the tours, we've taken everyone to Marlboro.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've seen stuff.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. So you guys saw the full fiberglass insert. They apparently the resin that they use for the fiberglass has just gone way up in price, according to the manufacturer. But we've got some different quotes. We got one quote for a full fiberglass insert to line the whole wet well, which is, I mean, it's deep. It's 19 feet deep. So we got a pretty hefty price tag on that one. The other option is we retrofit the whole thing with just a ton, and the base elbows for the pumps, and then we DIY all the piping and the guide rails for the pumps and all that kind of stuff from the valve vault. So I'm gonna have to put some pencil and paper to see exactly how much the difference in cost is gonna be if we can weigh it out with, protecting that wet well forever. I mean,
Yeah.
fiberglass wet well. It's a concrete wet well right now. It'd be prudent to line it at the time if we DIY it. So more to come on that one before we really start moving forward. Not a whole lot of movement on Highway 99. ODOT's project, Ashland Pump Station number 2 Force Main. The plans for that are complete. We just have to schedule our construction crew to go out there and do that one. Fiscal year 2024 CIPP projects. That's our cure in place pipe package that we try to put out every year. The vast majority of this is going to be in Jacksonville, which the 23 project also was. We've got kind of on a mission to line all those pipes out there. They're old and mostly concrete, and Jacksonville's not growing a ton, so it lends itself really well to lining. Carl already talked about the Cummins stormwater facility. We're probably going to bid that one in February and have a March award as well. So
We have a longer wait between bid opening and award with these projects because we have to send everything up to DEQ and get their concurrence before we can award.
yeah, that's a good point. We usually just, as you guys know, we usually bid them and then award them the next week. We have to wait for them to review it. So, and then the SCADA and UV upgrades at the Shady Cove treatment plant. There's not a whole lot of movement. We did get a confirmation from our consultant that the electrical system at Shady Cove can handle the UV installation.
Oh, that's nice.
It was a very substantial analysis to show that. So we're very confident. Yeah, which it is. It's a big deal. If we had to do a bunch of electrical upgrades out there, price tag is going to go away. Sure. So that's all I have. Any questions?
What's your estimate on the Antelope Road rehab project?
I think right now our actual estimate's right around 5 million. So maybe just a touch over, but we give them an engineer's estimate. We give a bracket, so we said 4 to 6 million. So hopefully they'll land it there.
Okay. I think our loan was authorized for 6.6 million.
Yeah, so that's all the contingencies and everything.
Okay, any other questions for Nick? Okay, O&M.
Let's see, business as usual last month, which is good. I was going in the collection system. Tim was able to get out there and complete about 12,500 feet of resawing, which is kind of unusual this time of year, but with low flows, so we get some extra done. Locates, this is something I haven't added before, so this is new. I don't know why. It just came to me. I think I must have hit my head or something. It's like, put this in there. 391 locates were completed last month, and that's pretty low. So they're usually double that in a month, especially in good times. So, and with the way we're spread out, we probably have about 1.5 FTEs right now doing locates. This is the geographical. nature of our business.
What do you attribute that to? Bad weather, less construction?
I think because construction a little bit,
The materials prices are through the roof. I think people are like laying foundations and then
yeah, more chilling though, housing has definitely slowed a little bit. You can see that in our annual inspections. So yeah, combination of that. But then you get in springtime and well, people are putting strawberries in, so you know they call it locates for strawberries.
Don't think this deep.
Yeah. Gold Hill, again, they were able to get out there and do some root sawing, aside from the normal special cleans, they got 2,600 feet done on Gold Hill. And obviously the root sawing is the reason for the uptick in, yeah, special cleaning amounts too. So 99.5 equipment hours and 182 labor hours cost us about $15,700 for our system. I still put Gold Hill separate, and I'll probably change that when we change back over in June, July. So I'll still itemize it. And then 18.5 equipment hours and 34 labor hours for a cost of $3,000 out in Gold Hill on special cleaning. Treatment, a real good month because now our biggest waste hauler now is not doing land application. So their permits expires and now they're back to dumping with us. So I received 314,155 gallons of septage, 46,425 gallons of porta potty waste, and 28,595 gallons of fat soils and grease for a total revenue of $58,380. October treatment totals, Shady Cove, just about 6 million gallons of effluent traded out there for the month of October. And Gold Hill, 2 million gallons of effluent treated. So I'm sure the Medford Water Commission and the city of Grants Pass appreciate that. Pump stations, Episode Ponderosa, that was the Myers pump that we had rebuilt over here at Marine Electrical. So that's been all rebuilt and installed and is in full operation. So that's good. And then step stake, we retrofitted 2 existing step tanks with lawn grinders out there on Craig Lake Highway just past Dutton Road. We got that taken care of. No contract work for the month of November. Drilling and grounds, the 3-phase service for the electric trucks is under construction. We're just waiting on Pacific Power to do their thing. So it looks like it probably won't be till next year. But all the pipe and vaults and stuff are all there ready for that. And vehicles and equipment, the TV van chassis arrived and we got it shipped down to Paris, California, so they can put the box on it. And then from there it'll go to somewhere in Kentucky, I don't know the exact city, so it's camera equipment. Back here, I said I'll have a little United States map on the back with all the states blocked out that it made it through, national parks. So
Did we put a GPS tracker on it so we could monitor its progress?
no, not to my knowledge, that doesn't exist yet. It might have OnStar.
Yeah. You know, the state tracker.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that we have to ship that, all these different places to get things taken care of. That we
Yeah,
don't have anything
centrally located, like,
regional even.
yeah, I know, it kind of sucks, and then with the TV van, that's the one thing that makes this trip around America.
Yeah.
You know, the flusher truck, we can work out with the chassis manufacturer, take it from the factory and deliver directly to the outfitter, and then they drive it here, because with the factory trucks, they can't trailer those. So that's good. The last TV van we built, we were able to arrange that from GM directly from the factory to the outfitter, which was in Illinois last time. But this time we weren't able to do that. They don't do that anymore. So it got shipped to Portland, then driven down to us, then driven down to Paris, and to Kentucky, and then back again.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then even like the crane truck, we were at one stop. So, but there's still a chassis had to go to Salt Lake City, and someone had to drive it there too. So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Well, it's just the way things are.
Yeah. And a TV company doesn't fill the boxes. Someone else does that. That's their specialty, so. Oh,
Okay, any other questions for Shane? Okey dokey, managers report.
Okay, we did the resolution on the budget committee, the design engineer for the Gold Hill Regional Intertie. We do not have the final scope yet in cost, so that was a very ambitious target to try to get it in time for this board meeting, but we will have it for next month. You know, they have to draw in quotes from a lot of subcontractors working on it. It is a big project, so we will have that ready for approval next month. Okay, on to Gold Hill. So on the funding applications, with Business Oregon, we have the application ready to go for the design portion of it. So Business Oregon is tentatively agreeing to lend us $1.4 million, and $700,000 of that would be in the form of a grant. And the intent right now is to use that for the design, for the engineering portion of it. And it should be enough. Well, it better be enough. That's a lot of money. And I think I didn't bring it in. I forgot it's sitting on my desk, but I do need a signature on that one. For the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund, that application is in. The deadline for the latest round was December 12th. They have not yet updated their intended use plan, but I expect this will be part of the intended use plan. And so the way it's going to work with DEQ is we're going to get an interim loan for construction. So the DEQ loan would pay for all the construction through to the end of construction. And they have crazy low interest rates during that. And then when we're done with construction, a portion of that DEQ loan is going to get converted over to the USDA Rural Development Fund. And then by the time we're done, we're going to have loans with 3 different agencies. And each one of them is going to provide varying amounts of principal forgiveness of grants. So it is somewhat complicated. That's one of the reasons why I have another consultant do most of that legwork. But the application for the DEQ loan is in, and we're just waiting for them to score it and put it into their intended use plan. And then the last one is the USDA Rural Development Fund. Those you can't even put in the application until you've cleared all your environmental hurdles. So I've got the process started, but this is going to be almost exclusively handled by the consultant. Working through with DEQ, they're easy to work with. I mean, the things you have to do are sometimes challenging, but working with their staff is pretty easy. But the federal side of it, it's not as easy. We're just going to have the consultants handle that. They've got experts who know how to do that better than we can. The Cummins Stormwater Facility, we already talked about that. So we're going to get some grants to cover that cost. Railroad Road, I think I mentioned this before, but that loan is approved, and we're getting that at an effective interest rate of 1.93%, and $2 million of that's going to be covered by grant also. So that's going to come in really nice. So big stuff. Gold Hill, let you know where we are and everything. The discharge permit for the treatment plant is in our name. I have not yet requested deadlines on the MAO. Kind of waiting until we get the engineer on board for the design before I commit to anything. But that's going to happen. For their existing IFA loan that they had when they did some collection system work, all the information has been turned into Business Oregon to transfer that loan over to us. So that's in process. For the assumption of the rural development loan, there's a lot more stuff involved. So basically, they're going through a whole new underwriting process with us as the loan recipient instead of Gold Hill. And this is sitting on my desk too, but I'll bring it in here. But I've got a stack of papers. A couple of them still need case signature, to transfer that to us. They're telling us now that it should work. I guess, well, one of the big concerns is one of their criteria is that you don't have the ability to get funding somewhere else. And that's, we would fail that.
Yeah.
And so we've been talking, for the past 6 or 8 months. It's like, we want to make sure that this is focused exclusively on Gold Hill. We're not penalizing Gold Hill because now they're attached to us, and our financial condition so much better. And they've reassured me, and I have it in writing, that is how they're going to approach it. So hopefully they follow through on that part of it. So that's, like I said, that's in process. We have our monthly meeting this afternoon at 2, so we'll give more updates at that point. But like I said, right now it does not look like that's going to be a big issue. Keep our fingers crossed. For the transfer of the assets, the pumper truck has been transferred. That was the easy one. I don't yet have the deed to the plant. I talked to the new city manager, Lily Morgan, this morning. And she was under the impression that was already taken care of, but we haven't seen anything. So she's going to get in touch with her Erica and find out where we are in that process. The transfer of the money. So there's supposedly, we believe, slightly under $300,000 in sewer funds in Gold Hill. That's what their last audit said. As of June 2022, that's what their audit said was in there. When I talked to the previous interim manager, Bill Landis, I thought there was only $26,000. No, that's not right. So anyway, when I talked to Lily Morgan this morning, she's pretty sure it's there. Their systems are, there's just been so many people through that, they have a hard time trying to figure stuff out.
Revolving door.
Yeah, and so they've got their auditors working, trying to figure out exactly how much is there. She thinks it's going to be real close to that 300,000. But her concern was if they transferred that all at once, it would drop their commingled fund balance so low that they could be in trouble. And so what she is requesting is that we allow them to make quarterly payments over the next year. And what she said is it'll be $75,000 in January, and then in March, and then again in however many go. And then in December, when they've sorted everything out, whatever is remaining will be transferred. I didn't think that would be a huge problem. We would have to do an amendment to our annexation agreement.
Right.
So, but that's.
And then we'd have to make a motion to.
Yes, yeah. Well, right now I don't have, I just learned this morning, so I don't have anything prepared, but if we have a head nod and I tell her to proceed with the amendment, then we can come back and finalize it next month. But realistically, I don't know what else we do.
Well, it's kind of reasonable.
Yeah, it's not too unreasonable. And at the end of the day, the money that's there right now is all earmarked. It's all going to go into the debt reserve fund. And it's all going to be used to reduce the amount that we have to borrow on behalf of Gold Hill, which impacts their rate. So if we don't get it, we just borrow more and their rates are higher. So it's to the citizens' detriment if we don't get it. It's sewer money. They paid it in their sewer bills. They paid it in sewer. So, like I said, I think that's a reasonable approach. We're not going to need it before the end of next year. And as long, this kind of gives us a little bit better assurance that we'll get it.
Out of curiosity, is there a real thought that there is less than 300,000? And maybe down as low as 75 or 25? We've gone through how many city managers, how many
Yeah.
auditors?
So you had the audit, and the audit was completed about a year ago, and said as of June 2022. So I think we can trust that. What happened is the year since that audit, most of it, the city manager was Adam Hanks, and I have absolute confidence that he wouldn't have done anything silly. And then Bill Landis, came after that. I don't think he would have done anything silly. There was a period of a couple months where they had an outgoing manager before Adam came on board, which I don't know. So that was one of my first thoughts. It's like, what happened to it? But I guess the thing is, it's and we do the same thing. We have one bank account, and we know we have this much in this fund and this much in this fund because Brenda keeps track of it.
Right.
And she accounts for it that way. But realistically, if you guys signed a check for $8 million, it would get cashed. And and if Brenda wasn't keeping track of where it was coming from, we go and have an audit and it'd come up, it's like, hey, there's $8 million missing. So, until there's another audit, you don't really know what actually happened. So I don't know if I want to put a confidence level on it, but I think it's going to be there.
But in the end, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't affect our core customers at all. I mean, if the money was misappropriated somehow, in this past year, it will affect the residents of Gold Hill, but it won't affect any of our core customers.
So you got my head nod.
Yeah.
You got my head nod.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had a question, John?
It's all one account, and then you said we do that too? That's challenging.
Yes. Well, it shows in the audit that all funds are commingled, is what they call it.
Huh.
And so we have an account with the local government investment pool, and it's one big pot of money. And we know, because we do our budgeting and we do our quarterly reports and we do our monthly, everything, that of that $12 million that's in that bank account, $1 million of it belongs here and $1 million of it belongs, and on down for every fund. So we know where it belongs. But I think that's common. I think every government does that.
Yeah, there's just an allocation of cash between the funds and the county.
We break it out.
We what?
You have an account for each fund, a literal bank
We have
account
different
for each.
Yeah, not for everything, but for several things.
Oh, yeah. No, we just keep most of it, the majority of it, like right now, about 12 million in the LGIP account.
Yeah.
It's insured, covered.
Yeah.
And then just basically at least no more than typically 100,000 in Umpqua Bank for FDIC coverage. And maybe once or twice a month between when needed, but
We used to try to shop around and buy CDs and things like that to try to get marginally higher interest rates.
Yeah, I remember
We
that.
stopped doing it. It just didn't. It wasn't worth the energy for the real minor differences in interest rates you could accomplish. So we work exclusively with the state, with the local government investment pool.
LGIP is over 5 right now.
Wow.
So,
Are you saying you can write a check from LGIP?
no.
No. It would come from our bank. I guess we'd have to transfer the money from
Right.
LGIP to bank.
Yeah,
first.
so, yeah. We don't, LGIP is like my savings
Okay,
account.
so you gotta
and
transfer
only
it down
Carl-
before you can write.
Correct, yeah, so
So that's like
that's,
one, to slow it down a little bit.
there's only one checking account.
It's okay, put down the checkbook.
Yeah.
There we go. 2 million.
2 words, Cancun. And we keep our general assets apart, definitely from asset forfeiture, because we seize the drug dealer's money. And that has to be
Oh, yeah.
totally separate.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's federal regulations as well.
State, yeah.
State.
And it ends up being even more than you would think.
Yeah,
But that has to be discrete, and there's different funds. But, I know you've got it.
Okay, let's see, the reserve fund, that's all set up. We sent bills out,
Yeah,
we've been getting paid.
yeah, it's looking really good.
That's
So,
good.
yeah,
We put a Dropbox at City Hall just to make it a little bit easier for people. So that went in last week. So far, so good there. I guess jump over to the question on the RV park and mobile home park.
Yeah.
This is a can of worms that probably needed to be opened. So there is that one RV park in Golden Hill. It has 78 or so units in it. They've previously been billed for one. So their bill went from $70, $80 a month to 4,000, 5,000. I mean, it was a big increase. And you know, we tried to contact them beforehand, and we traded a couple of email message or voicemail messages, and she didn't get the bill, and we touched base. But what the owner is asking for is if they could do the billing based on occupancy. So even though there's 78 units, they're maybe half full or 3/4 full, whatever it is, and they would prefer not to pay for spaces that are sitting there empty, which makes sense. And this is where the can of worms comes in. So in our history, if we go all the way back to the early 1970s, we've gone through a couple of different methods of how we bill RV parks. And initially, it was there was a base rate, and then there was a consumption rate. There was a period of time where we had two base rates: one if it was occupied, one if it was unoccupied, and then a consumption rate. Then that changed to where it was just a flat rate for the ones that were occupied, nothing for unoccupied, and consumption rate. And the last iteration was in 1998, and we changed it to a flat rate. There's no consumption rate, it's just a flat rate per space. And there was no allowance for whether or not it's occupied or not. But for whatever reason, we continued to do that. And so we've got about, 14 total parks?
yeah.
That every month they report what their occupancy levels are, and that's what they start their bills on. So we've done that, we've been doing that. It's not consistent with what our rate resolution says. So that's something that I think needs to get fixed. The second disconnect we have there is with the way the treatment rates are charged. So when we pay to the city of Medford for treatment for an RV park, it's based, there's a flat rate per space, and then there's a consumption rate. And so we go through an exercise where we have basically a standard conversion of what the typical flow is, because a lot of these are in areas that don't have water meter. Some do, some don't. But so we apply a standard consumption for every space, and then that's what we go Medford on. So we've got a couple of disconnects there that are a little bit awkward. It's the idea that people call us up and tell us how many spaces they had filled. I mean, I think there's an incentive to underestimate, and not that anyone is or not. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it's there because we don't have any kind of way to audit that or anything like that. So that's something that I think we need to address. Not today. That's something when we start working on the rate analysis for the next fiscal year. I would like to get something fixed there, and it could be simply we put in our resolution that it's based on occupancy and leave it at that and don't change it for anybody else. But that's something to keep in mind here in a couple months. We'll be having some more detail on that. But for the immediate person, for this Lazy Acres RV park, Since we're already doing it for our other customers, I think it would be appropriate to extend that same approach to this park. At least until we can, fix it in a better way.
You said there's 14 parks that are under this reporting method. Are there more parks than that that are under some other method?
No, those are the only ones
That's it,
that
that's
we
all
bill
the
off of.
park.
Yeah, we just have a list, and so we give them a certain date to call in, and if they don't, then we start calling them. Okay, what's your occupancy, what's your number for last month, and then that's what we bill off of. And so there is only 14 that we contact, or hopefully they contact us. But there's a little bit of work, extra, hand holding work that goes on.
Did their occupancy go up after the Alameda fire? No?
Uh-uh.
Yeah,
No.
maybe they're not reporting.
Yeah, and then it's like, so if someone's there partial month, are they reporting it as a whole number or a half number and so.
Who's there on the 15th?
Yeah.
I got John.
Is it just not possible to bill each individual person who lives there in a mobile?
Well, these are mostly RV or recreational vehicle parks, so they're transient.
Oh,
So,
I get it.
and a lot of them, like this one, just
Education.
Lazy Acres, about half of them are actually people who live there long term,
Okay,
but the other half are people just traveling, coming in and out, so.
so that's even gonna fluctuate within
Yeah.
a month.
Yes, so like Jackson County Expo,
Right.
it's higher in the summer than it is.
Yeah, so it's, it's got problems with the approach. But we wouldn't typically bill that to each resident because it's one piece of property. There's one owner, and that's where we would bill rather than trying to parcel. It's like an apartment building or something like that. You wouldn't send a sewer bill to each unit in an apartment building.
We had this same problem in the Meadows dealing with garbage company in the past 4 or 5 years. Every time they pick up a can, it registers in that truck how many cans they picked up. So they told us every month how many cans they picked up at the 270 homes. The ironic thing was every winter we have so many snowbirds that take off and they disconnect their garbage. They would still show 211 out of 270 cans were picked up. So the trust issue is a major, even if someone is reputable as the garbage company. We caught them twice in overestimating the number of cans in 1 month by over 75 cans.
Wow.
Out of 270 in the entire park.
Yeah.
At that point, we renegotiated their rates. They negotiate their rates every year with RV parks, like not RV parks, but like we are, because they send out one bill. Our entire association pays one bill. They're not waiting for checks from 270 homes. Get a discount for that. We get a discount for, they can do 270 homes in an hour and 30 minutes. 270 homes out in the woods could take you half a day. You get a discount for that, but we could not trust them for the amount of cans they picked up. I think there would be a way, though, if you thought about it, if you could trust the RV park and let them show you their occupancy averages for the last year. You can pretty much get an average of how many people they have in January, February, March, at the end of the year, and take that average and bill them on the average. Probably take the matter of trust out of the equation.
You could make it a level pay across all 12, so it'd be consistent for them. No budget shocks in the busy months.
Yeah, well, yeah, the way the regional rate is set up, it's per space no matter what, but then the consumption rate would account for the fluctuation. And the per space rate is much lower. Whereas, our per space rate is 88% of what the single family rate is. Whereas with the regional, the per space rate on RV parks is a third of what the single family rate is. So, this is one of those things where you've been doing it for a long time and everyone's just kind of adjusted to it. And if you make a change, there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, depending on how they're using it. And you just have to be careful not to mess anybody up too bad or to.
Is this RV park a traditional RV park that has fishing and people that are staying there 3 and 4 days and taking off?
Yes.
There's an overflow for the city. If you have a 20-year-old camper and you don't have a home, you live there for the entire
It has
year.
I think there's both.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think, she sent me the data, just yesterday or the day before, and, I think of the 78, a little less than 50 were occupied, and most of those were permanent residents or long-term residents, and the rest were transient, but it's even weirder because there's also a house there where a caretaker lives, and there's also a hotel that has 4 units, and there's also a small
An apartment,
apartment
Yeah.
building.
All of that on the one bill?
yes.
Oh,
And they were getting one $88 bill per month, and we come in and here's this $5,000 per
Yeah,
month bill.
oh,
And they're
that's
like,
amazing.
yeah.
we warned her, we knew, but then when she actually got the bill and saw it, she, oh, crap, okay, we need to talk about this now. I can't,
It should square with whatever Medford charges us to treat whatever they send down the
Yeah,
system.
and
So
that's what I'd like to do, make it as close to that as we can, yeah.
Have you run the number on that?
No, that's a big mess.
It's a bigger
It's a
spreadsheet
lot of
than you
work.
have.
Yeah, it's a bigger spreadsheet than I have right now.
I was just curious if you did it, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, that's something we definitely need to work on. Maybe not only that part, but for the 14 other
Yeah.
counties.
Yeah,
Needs to be
Just to-
standardized.
Yeah, we want to
Yes.
make it consistent.
That's to make it consistent, but also to check up on
Yeah,
stuff.
but they're
yeah,
reporting.
and Medford's gonna start charging way more as they
Yes.
spend this $300 million. So it'd be nice if we don't overcharge them, but also don't subsidize them.
right, and that's the thing with having a slightly different structure from what the treatment charges are, is as those rates go up, the imbalance is gonna get bigger. If we're just going up exactly like they are, then that works, but if they've got areas that are going up, and, some of ours are going up faster than others, because we're different, and, it gets out of whack pretty quick, so, now would be the time to do that before Medford starts raising the rates.
Exactly.
We're gonna need a bigger spreadsheet.
Microsoft tournament?
So, right now we need a motion to bill it based upon occupancy. So I need a motion, please.
That the second suggestion motion under number 7 or the first?
Yeah, there's 2 there, we've already skipped past the first
That one
one.
right there.
Okay, I move to allow the Lazy Acres RV Park in Gold Hill to be billed based upon occupancy.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Kate Harrison,
Yes.
Roger Tom,
Yes.
Mike Parsons,
Yes.
John Edwards,
Yes.
Bill Quinn.
Yes.
Okey-dokey.
Okay, before we talk about the board dinner, oh wait, let's go back, on the, loan assumption with USDA. I would like a motion just to authorize Kate to sign those, underwriting documents. So that we can
Oh,
transfer
okay,
that.
that's different than that.
Yeah, we skipped it, we talked about it, but we didn't. do a
Yeah,
motion.
yeah. So I need a motion for that too, guys.
I move to approve authorization for the board chair and manager to sign underwriting documents to transfer the Gold Hill USDA loan to RVSS.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Kate Harrison,
Yes.
Roger Tom,
Yes.
Mike Parsons.
Yes.
John Edwards.
Yes.
Bill Quinn.
Yes. That's a funny loan, isn't it, Carl? Because on the one hand, we have to say we can't get a loan anywhere else, and yet we have to be credit worthy enough to get it at all. Really a needle thread, isn't it?
It is, yeah, that's a different world.
Yeah. Those darn feds.
Okay, before we talk about the board dinner, we got a request, for a letter of support, from the Road River Valley Irrigation District and Medford Irrigation District for them to do some, I guess they're trying to get some grant money to do some
Yeah.
major improvements on one of their canals. And we had a letter, one of these before, and I think a copy of the letter I wrote back then, is in there. Basically, it's a good project. I mean, overall, it'll conserve water, it'll save money, it'll do a lot of really good things. So I'm in favor of lending them their support. When I draft a letter for them to support, I always want to tie it to kind of what our mission is and our focus is on water quality. So a lot of the things that they talk about, you know, is kind of outside of our lane. I don't want to go out. I don't want to recommend a project because it does something that is not something that we're supposed to do or that impacts us. So anyway, if it's agreeable to you guys, I'll go ahead and draft a letter of support and tie it to our mission of clean water, and hopefully they'll get the money and they'll build the project.
Okay, do you want a motion on this one too? Or just a,
Yeah, well, probably, I think either way, probably a motion. Let's go ahead and do a motion
okay,
to support the joint system canal piping project for River Valley irrigation and Medford irrigation district.
They're gonna abandon the ditches altogether.
I think they're gonna use the same alignment, but pipe them, I think is what their plan is.
they've been talking about this for years.
And almost as long as I've been here, I mean, since,
Yeah.
you know, the early aughts.
Yeah.
Maybe even sooner.
Where is it, Carl, or is it all over the place?
This one is,
I mean, I read it, but I still had trouble picturing it.
This Little Butte,
That is on the list. Little Butte's one of the things.
because doesn't Central Point have its water rights split a little by themselves as a backup?
They had, I'm not sure,
Still do.
I know that the Medford Water Commission was asking to call in all the water rights for different cities, and I'm not sure if Central Point still has it or not.
You sure should do it in Southwest Medford. Little Lazy Creek, the creeks down in Southwest, they flood, and I don't know why they're building so close to them. It's nuts.
so, yeah.
I sure would hope that they would see about that. I've actually walked in a field that's been flooded as recent as 15, 20 years. Now it's just lined with houses, and their
Yeah.
backyards are gonna be.
Yeah.
I can't understand it, but it's there.
Yeah.
All the different philosophies on that kind of stuff. But, yeah.
Flooding is not a philosophy many subscribe to.
That's not the part that I was talking about, John.
I know, I don't disagree with you. Kay.
Uh-huh.
I just think, I don't understand why they did it, that's all.
I don't either, but you know. Okay, so motion? For the
Motion
letter,
to support the construction of the joint system canal piping project for Red River Valley and Medford irrigation.
I make the motion as stated.
Second.
okay. It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Kate Harrison.
Yeah.
Roger Tom.
Yes.
Mike Parsons.
Yes.
John Edwards.
Yes.
John Flynn.
Yes.
Okay, board dinner. Joan has confirmed that the Edenville Winery is available for most of the spring, February, March, or April. So we need to pick a date and get that reserved.
March is better for me than April.
Yeah, I think March is good.
Okay,
First weekend in March?
the first weekend?
Don't wanna get too close to spring break.
Yeah, the spring break would not work.
Well, and my birthday's in March and I'm not gonna be
Well, happy birthday.
here. March. Second is a Saturday. Is that when you want me to make it available?
Does that work for everybody?
What day?
When's SDAO?
February 7th or
Okay.
9th.
Okay.
My conferences, then. 10, 11.
March 2nd is okay with me. That's a Saturday.
Sure, anytime in March.
All right,
That's good for me too.
all right.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So March 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay,
Boy,
So
that's
when is your
the
birthday?
easiest one we've ever had.
I know.
When's your birthday?
March 12th,
Okay.
and I'll be 60.
Happy birthday, in case I forget.
Yeah, I'll be 60. Well, I'm not gonna be here. I'm just telling you right now.
All right,
You're still a youngin', Joan.
Yeah.
I think that is all I have.
Okay, claims.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Kate Harrison.
Yep.
Roger Tom.
Yes.
Mike Parsons.
Yes.
John Edwards?
Yes.
John Clark?
Yes.
That is it.
We adjourned?
All right. Thank you all.
Perfect timing.